Great.
Okay.
So, yeah, we can start now. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. And my name is Ilaria Boffa. I'm Program Manager, Global Office at 6 Seconds. And I'm very pleased to introduce you, Manuel Caviglia and Massimiliano Caviglia, who are the founders of CoachUrself, one of our preferred partners in Italy. And today we will discuss together about how they brought social and emotional learning into primary school in Rome. And so what tools did they use and what techniques? And so please interact with us and we will be very glad to answer all your questions. Especially, you can use the chat because you won't have the mic on and the webcam. So use the chat just to interact and ask questions. So now I'm going to mute myself and I'll let Manuel leading this webinar. Thank you so much for being with us, Manuel.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Ilaria. Thanks to Ilaria, 6 Seconds, and everyone who invite us to do this webinar. We will be pleased to share our case history in our primary school that we did this year. And just a little question to the people in the room at the moment. Where are you from? Can we start with a poll?
Can you see the poll?
Yeah, I see.
Okay, great. I see the answers as well. And if you clicked other educators, please share with us in the chat what level or what grade are you teaching, or if you are a special educator or whatever. Thank you. I think I can end the poll. Good. Did I share the results? Probably not.
Yeah, okay. Educators, primary schools, other educators, okay. Maybe we can do it also at the end if more people join us. So
Yeah, sure.
Perfect. So, okay, let's start our story. Okay. My name is Manuel Caviglia, and I am a part of a network called CoachUrself, along with Massimiliano that is here with us, and we are 6 Seconds a preferred partner, like Ilaria just told you.
Good evening.
Okay. And so we will share you this experience. We call this project Evolve Education, and it's based, as we will see, on 6 Seconds self-science curriculum. And it's a way for us to introduce the social emotional learning in a primary school. And we will see how we did it and the results we got in the process. But we start first with a movie that describes our experience with images. Okay.
that something's wrong. Let me hear you say, let me hear you say, I'm lost in peace with sorrow. Do what you wanna do, say what you wanna say. So come on and be my love, come on and be my way. People speak, I hear them say, you are the best of do what you wanna do, say what you wanna say. So come on and be my love, come on and lead the way. The people speak, I hear them say, you are the best of
Okay.
Yeah, hope everyone heard and could listen to this video. It was really great. Thank you, Manuel.
Yeah, beside the learning, I have to admit we get a lot of fun as well. It was really a beautiful experience for us. So, would you like to launch another poll? So, a word, an emotion after watching this clip. But
Yes, just tell us one emotion that represents your feelings after watching this clip. And you can choose multiple emotions if you want, or just one. Unfortunately, I can't vote. I can't choose because I'm the host, and you and all the other panelists can't. But the participants can. Yeah, curious. Okay, I'll hand the ball and share the results.
curious, good.
Yeah, this is the prevalent emotion.
Yeah, okay. So we will try to give some light to your curiosity. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so first, maybe all of you are familiar with the emotional intelligence definition, but I think it's good to start from here. It's Daniel Goleman that was the key figure in spreading emotional intelligence as a common knowledge through his bestseller that he published in 1995. Emotional Intelligence was the title. He also speaks in this book about the science curriculum in the last chapter. And Daniel Goleman defines emotional intelligence as the ability to recognize ours and other feelings. So it's very important on the relationships aspect. Being motivated, we like to talk about intrinsic motivation, okay? And managing our emotion in our life and relationship. I think this describes very well what is in some way be smart with feelings. Okay. So why EQ? EQ stands for emotional quotient, and why it is so important, I mean, in our performance. A lot of people maybe are familiar with the concept of IQ, and during the decades, it was discovered that IQ predicts more ability or capability to perform in an academic environment or in school. It's not always so related to our performance in life. I mean, it's not the same as being a good students and perform in a good way in our lives. It's not always related. So emotional intelligence plays a big part in this. And also our expertise plays a part in this. For expertise, we mean our routine in the job we used to do, what we develop is some way the learning by doing, we can define this way. So I show you now the percentage on how much these three characteristics, elements, these three elements impacts on our performance. As you can see, emotional intelligence explains 50-55% of our individual performance. And a lot of our school, at least in Italy, focusing more about just the 25% of IQ. So today is very, very important to build a better society, to build a better kids, a better adult, to focus also on emotional intelligence. And we will see why and how. Also, emotional intelligence explains youth results. More than 53.5% are related with the kids' results. And I want to share with you a story that I experienced when I was in high school that I think describes this quite well. And I remember I spent an afternoon studying with a friend of mine. We were preparing ourselves for an oral examination we had to get the day after. So studying, we were very prepared, we were very good. My friend and I repeated the lesson to each other. Everything was just perfect. We were ready. Next day, my friend was called by the teacher to repeat the lesson. And with my big, and probably his big surprise, he didn't say a word. He wasn't able to say a word about the lesson, even if I perfectly knew he knew everything about it. So what's happened? And after the lesson, after, of course, he went to his place and he get a 0. I mean, judgments in Italy are not the letters A, B, C, D, like in the US, but we go from a scale from 0 to 10. 0 being the worst, 10 being the highest. Okay. So basically, I get to him. I asked him, mate, what's happened? Why? I know you know the lesson. And he told me, I totally freezed. It was like if everything I used to know was erased from my brain. At the time, of course, I didn't know about emotional intelligence. I am sold that I can say that probably even Daniel Goleman at the time didn't know about emotional intelligence, because it was way before 1995. And so now I can understand that it's a way our brain erased the memory because he sort of panicked. It was just like the brain says, okay, so you are afraid to say something wrong, I erase everything you can say so you won't be wrong. Mission accomplished. Well, not so much. So basically, my friend didn't get the result he wanted to get. So what was the difference that he could have done? Probably it was the thought, his way of thinking that get that result, because, okay, he totally forget everything. And he started panicking about it. Oh my God, I can't remember anything. I will get a 0. And that was exactly what he got. What about if he started thinking a different way? For example, okay, I know the lesson. Just let me take a deep breath and probably everything will come back to me. Probably if he let his think this way, he could have a different performance. So what's the point? That sometimes when we did the self-science lessons, we see that our kids in primary schools always raise their hand to give some answers. And sometimes they give and raise their hands just to say, I don't know the answer. But they want to express themselves. They are not afraid to express themselves. They are not afraid to be judged. This is something that we learn in the follow years. We learn to be afraid of judgment, and so something like this could happen to us. What about if the school can teach us something better, like doing better choices, like to relate better with each other, or to starting have some goals, have a reaction. So a lot can be done and can be done. And our curriculum and our projects is focused to get this into the school. Okay. So social emotional learning, so it's something that we approached with our project Evolve Education, as we told, based on the 6 seconds emotional intelligence model that we will see later, and with the science project, that is a curriculum of lessons that focused in a sort of 3 different areas that we will see later. So science teach the kids to have an approach to the study of cells. They become little detectives that have to discover their emotions, that have to go deeper inside themselves. And doing this with some games, well, they were very capable of doing it. And this curriculum is studied to involve every actor in the schools, from teachers that did a lot of work, like we will see. Also, it's a way, there is some way to involve the parents as well. In fact, we did a presentation to them, but we will get to this later. So the core of this were the lessons and everyday practice of IE skills that followed our lessons. What's the goal of our project? Increase children's EQ so that they can perform and learn what will make the difference in their lives. Bringing a positive impact on good health. We know that stress, bad emotions in general, have an effect on our health. Even for kids, a kid can be stressed. You know, I've got to school, I've got to the after school, I've got the lesson of sport. Kids do a lot of things. So they can be stressed just like adults. So it's very important being able to develop a positive impact and emotional attitude to manage stress. So health has a lot to do with emotions. Self-efficacy, of course, had a lot to do with our emotion. The episode I just told of my friend was everything about it. Life satisfaction and, of course, relationship quality. Everything we do is based on neuroscience. Neuroscience in the learning process. We use brain's ability. We use what brains do better. And we know that when we feel emotionally engaged, our brain works better. It's more capable of remembering something. So it's all better for us. This is the reason why we put, of course, a lot of emotions in our lessons. And we know that the brain can be taught. We can do practice with our brain through our emotional path, through repeating something, like just when we learn to drive. We repeat doing something, and at first it seems to us very difficult, and then it's very easy. We are good performer at that. And we can learn also to develop a different kind of thoughts, a different kind of feelings. So this can be applied to everything. So we started this pilot project working in the 6-second model. We use this model to develop emotional intelligence in kids. There are 3 main areas in this model. Is know yourself, I mean being aware of theirs and also others' emotion, because if I know myself, I develop also the ability to know others. Okay. Choose yourself. What I know can be used to manage myself better and do better choices. So I can choose. My friend could choose to think something different and get a different result. give yourself, being able to pursue their goals in a social environment. I mean, of course, we don't mean that kids in primary school should have so clear what the noble goal is, or have a so clear direction, but starting to think what the reason for doing what they do, what they want to accomplish, is something that you can learn, you can teach to them. So the first, our first step, we were introduced in this school is the Goffredo Petrassi and the Zandonai environment. And we started this project with 37 children of this primary school. And the teacher, Del Pio Patrizia, with Pietrangelo Roberta, were the two, and Stefania Romanini were the ones who introduced us. And we get, of course, a lot of support also from the principal, that was very interested, Anna Lombardo, in defining, in wanting something that can be measured. I mean, okay, we want to do this project, but we want also to measure practice results. And that was our challenge, to give these results. And I think we quite accomplished it. Our team was Sveva Perciabosco, that was our education area director, and myself, that I was a professional coach and trainer. So we worked together to deliver the lessons. So this is, I think, the good time to say thanks to the principal and all the teachers that support us in this project. So we started the 6-month pilot project in October 2015, and we delivered 8 lessons for each class, focused on the emotional intelligence skills. We used the self-science lesson structure. What it means? We have got 3 steps. The first one is the engage. Why engage? I mean, it was very important to put the children on board. I mean, when you do something new, you can start thinking, okay, what is this? I don't want to do something different. I don't like this. I mean, you can have some prejudice. You can have some frustration. You can be scared. I don't know what's going to happen. So it's very important starting our lesson in engaging the children. They were quite easy, I have to say, to engage. They were very responsive to the lessons. So I also have to say that we got a big help, because probably all of you know the movie Inside Out. And in Italy, the movie were published in our theater just at the end of September. And we started the lesson in October. So it was a very actual, subject, emotions. At the time we started the lessons, and the kids knew everything about the character of Inside Out. So it was really a good moment to start this. And we used a lot of clips from Inside Out to engage our children. And then there is the activate part. The activate part is the central part of the lessons, and it's basically involving them in games and role playing. Why? This is why, because I mean, of course, the kids learns better having some fun. I mean, relating a positive emotion to the learning is very effective. And this brings us to the third steps, that is the reflect one. And it's time to deliver the learning based on the game experience they have emotionally lived. And as we told, the emotion was a very important part, because when you feel emotionally involved, you get to remember better what you just learned. Okay. So I think that we have described, I mean, the set and the base that we used to get into. Now we would like to share some example of lessons that we delivered. And before I continue, anyone has some questions? Okay. Well, one of the first.
If you want to ask questions, you can use the chat. I remember this for all the participants also who are joined a little bit late. And so there's a little button, I think below your screen, and so at the bottom, and you can click on that and interact with us, typing in the chat. Thank you.
Okay, I get into the lesson now. I will give you some examples of the lesson we have delivered so you can understand better the methodology we have described about engaging, activating, and reflect. So one of our first lessons was about emotional literacy. Basically, our children had to enhance their emotional literacy as the 6 seconds skill. So we start engage them, the engage phase in showing some inside-out clips. They, as I told, they perfectly know anger, joy, disgust, sadness, and okay, I forget the one. Okay, the 5 based emotion of the movie, of course, and fear. I forgot fear. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. And then we engage them in ask them a simple question that a lot of people ask every day. That is very simple. How do you feel? Every time when we've been asked, how do you feel? We just respond, okay, I feel fine. Thank you. Fine, thank you. I'm good. I'm okay. But it's not so common that we share our real feelings, or it's not so common that we ask ourselves, how do we really feel? So that was, they were engaged from this question. So they really start give a name to their feelings at this point. So how do we feel? How do we really feel? In the activate part, we introduce them to the mood meter. The mood meter is a way to really answer this question because, of course, we explain them in a very basic way. But anyway, we say that emotions can be pleasant or unpleasant and can be of a higher intensity or a lower intensity. So based on these 2 dimensions, we got a 4 square chart. Okay, the blue square was the one with the low emotion intensity and unpleasant emotion. So we can call it the sadness square, okay? And it's blue. That was the color of sadness. Then we can have a higher intensity emotion, but always unpleasant. And this is the anger, the rage square, the red one. And this also was the same color as the inside out character. Then there is the yellow, that is the joy square, high intensity and pleasant emotion. And in the end, there is the green one, and it was quite difficult to explain to them that that wasn't the disgust square, but because disgust is green, I can say disgust can be placed in the middle from the red and the blue probably. And the green was instead the pleasant emotion, quiet one, lower intensity. When you are relaxed, when you are okay, it's a good square if you practice meditation, if you want to relax and to develop their imagination. We also used some relax exercise. Okay, so they were activated by building the mood meter, and we give them, as you can see, that stickers that they attached on the mood meter based on the right square they should use. And I have to say, it's nice to notice that kids have higher intensity emotion. As you can see, there are a lot of more stickers in the higher part, and fortunately also in the yellow one, so they were quite enthusiastic about doing this job. And so that is, we attached these stickers on the mood meter, and this is an habit they actually start using in class. Sometimes, in agreement with their teacher, when I want to express a feeling of mine, I can stand myself and go to attach some sticker in the mood meter. That was really appreciated both by kids and teacher. Sometimes they even invented a new words for emotions. For example, kids wrote motilità, that is a mix of two Italian words. In English, I could translate in motivappiness, motivappi. I mean, that means that I feel motivated and both happy. So they invented this term, and it was very nice. In fact, another thing we told that emotion depends a lot of from our language. There are emotion words that doesn't exist in some language and others exist in that language. For example, there is the Brazilian word that is saudade, that it means a sort of melancholy, but with some pleasantness as well. So, you see, the language is quite depending on the country we live in. So, after activated them with this game, we help them to reflect on how important it is to recognize ours and other emotions. So to do this, it was very important to enhance their emotional vocabulary. And this was the good occasion to show them the blue cheek flower, where you have a scale of value emotion, changing of intensity, and so they really expanded the vocabulary. And the challenge was also find some emotion that is not on the flower. Anyway, so they started also to use their own emotional dictionary, as we also see in the movie at the beginning, where they write the definition of the emotion and also definition of new terms that we start to teach them during our lessons. Okay. Another lessons that got a very good response was the one about the brain model and patterns. It was not very easy to explain, but we will try. Okay. First, we introduced, of course, the concept of pattern. You have to talk in a very simple way with kids. So the best way to show a pattern was to give them some examples. We show, as you saw in the movie, a clip with Donald Duck in an emotional hijacking. And he was very furious, he was full of rage and started to destroy everything. Actually, he was started to destroy the house of Daisy Duck, that was not good for his relationship with her, as the kids saw in the movie. So the question is, okay, when I see something that I don't like, I get this pattern. I start to destroy everything. I start to lose my control. Okay, lose my temper. And we show also a more positive pattern, because patterns are not always destructive ones, of course. So we also show a pattern of a 6 months baby girl. The baby girl was the daughter of two dear friends of mine. I say thank you to them that allow us to use that video in the lessons. And the baby girl basically was crawling with joy, and she always do this when chasing for her favorite toy, as we saw in the movie. And after watching this, the kids asked me, "Can we crawl?" Okay, we just did 1 minute of happy crawling for everyone. And then we start the next phase, that was the activate one. So the crawling was a good way to start the activated. So I explained to them the Daniel Siegel and the brain model. I don't know if I pronounce it correctly. If I don't, I'm sorry for him. Okay. And the end brain model, we explain in a very easy way. I mean, basically is okay, let's pretend this is a brain. And the upper part, where are my fingers, is the neocortex that is responsible for our thinking, for our rational thinking. And inside of my fist, there is the amygdala. Okay, so when amygdala and the neocortex are together, everything okay. Neocortex say to amygdala, everything okay. I surround you, okay. But sometimes amygdala just likes to go away. Okay, oh no, 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 no. And there is the emotional hijacking. And that, as we explain to them later, we introduce them the 6-second pause. Basically, you need 6 seconds pause to get your control again. And because when there is the emotional hijacking, amygdala pulls out the neocortex. I mean, you can't be rational, you can be think in a clear way. And we see this can happen a lot, familiar tragedies, when people fighting, for a parking lot or anything like this. So when neocortex in 6 seconds pause can get amygdala back to his seat and everything is going okay again. So we activated them basically doing an act. We prepared them some situation cards, and with these cards we described a situation. Okay, for example, my little brother is playing with my PlayStation and he won't stop, but I want to play with it as well. So this was a basic situation. And there was a sort of movie director that we called thalamus. The thalamus is the one who values our external stimulus and decide if it's the case to call amygdala or the cortex. And basically it decides our reaction. So the movie director was a kid, and the kid has to say, okay, in this situation, I call neocortex, or in this situation, I call amygdala. So let's us pretend he called neocortex. Neocortex go to near the two actors that are playing the part of the little brother and the adult brother. Then, since it's been called neocortex, I have the rational thinking activated. So basically, I can talk to my brother and say, okay, I've got a new game, we can play together. Or mom is calling you, probably want to tell you something. Anyway, maybe I could use some thinking to solve this issue. But if the kids call amygdala, the amygdala boy go to their friends, and there is an amygdala reaction. So they could start fighting to get the joypad, or maybe could go crying and complaining to their mother and everything. I mean, going to an emotional hijacking. So we did a lot of situation cards, and so we represent this situation. And kids really, really enjoying doing that. And I think that that was a really, really easy way to teach them something that is not so easy. I mean, now a kid can go back home and talk about it to his father, about thalamus, amygdala, neocortex, and our pattern reaction. And I mean, it's not even, it could be that even his parents are not aware of this. So it was quite nice. And the reflect part was very interesting because, as I told before, we introduced them the 6 seconds pause, and we teach them to use the hand model to do the pause, because when they feel emotional hijacked or they are losing control, they just do this gesture. So they use 6 seconds or more to count themselves. And teachers really, really like this, because sometimes when they are very agitated, the teachers just do this and the class freezed. So it was a very powerful teachment. Okay. Then, after we did 4 lessons, we did a presentation involving parents, where we described the science methodology and where we started describing what is emotional intelligence and why it really matters. And we offer them to let the children took the say YV assessment. YV is the youth version of the SIE assessment, okay, the 6. And I mean, when you do the youth version with the aged child from 6 to 10 years, we have to do it with a tutor. So we did the tutors and we did all the questions with them. So if they didn't know something or if they didn't understand something, they asked us. So what was everything quite okay. So we did. We get the result. We discussed them both with parents and with teacher. When we talk to parents, we get also some very good feedback from parents. We will talk about feedback later, but anyway, they really share with us how the child was appreciating the lessons. They were very fun for him. And another thing we do with the help of 6 seconds, they provide us the dashboard of the classroom. This is the one you can see on the slide. And basically the dashboard was a way for the teacher to see how responsive is her class in terms of, okay, they prefer the rational part or the emotional part. They like to innovate or they like to reflect. They like to do practical work or they like to create something new. I mean, basically the teachers in this way can see the style of the class and maybe modulate their teaching skills to better, I mean, follow this the class request. I mean, the style of the class. Very, very powerful, and it was very appreciated. Now time for some feedbacks. Okay, feedbacks of child. They were very, very nice. I mean, I read something. I stopped teasing my friend because now I understand I was catching him how bad emotion. He really told us, I know how he feels now because I got that feeling sometimes as well. Another one told, if those lessons were taught in all schools in the world, ISIS, I don't know what is the correct pronunciation in English, would have never existed. I think there is some truth in this. One of 6 seconds goals, and we like it a lot, is what if 1 billion of people practicing emotional intelligence in 2039, hopefully before, but that was a really, really noble goal for us. And so kids' feedbacks was very nice for us. Our parents also told us that his son wanted to go to school even with the temperature because there was our lessons. So that was really incredible for me because I remember when I went to school, sometimes I wanted to have temperature so that I could stay at home. So that was really nice. And also teachers gave us a very beautiful feedback. I think I have to say that the teachers were very involved in everything we did. They start attending our course, developing their own skills of emotional intelligence. So they start studying emotional intelligence themselves. And they did a lot of follow-up from our lessons. So the work with kids doesn't stop with our lesson. The teachers were very, very capable in bringing a new language in their classroom. It was really, really, I think that without the work they did, our lessons wouldn't be so effective. So it's now the right occasion, again, to say thanks to the teacher that shared with us this experience. And they gave a continued follow-up to our lesson with homework, exercise, using Q language. The goal was permanently integrate emotional intelligence in the school routine. In fact, the goal of our project is not just doing some lessons. I mean, it's bringing something in school that will last forever, because we will bring it, but the people in school will have the ability to keep the work going on and on and on, also without our help after 2 or 3 years maybe. And the teachers also noted a lot of progress in children behavior. As I told you, the closing hand signs was very, very appreciated. Also, parents gave us some feedbacks. For example, a father told us, my son started noticing I'm tired when I come back home and tell me, Father, okay, I see you are tired, so we can talk later. So he started noticing his parents' emotions. And this was very, very good. Some kids also started to tell to his parents, we should consider cost and benefits of this situation, because we, in the lesson, the focusing of consequential thinking, we talked about cost and benefits. So maybe really they integrated our language in their everyone in their life. I mean, in their family life. And we are also preparing some courses for parents, because we think to involve them more in the following year, because we think it's very, very important that the kids find the same language both in school and at home. So this is a very effective way to change something important in their behavior.
Yeah, Emmanuel, about courses for parents, I would like to underline that 6 Seconds has an EQ course for parents that is free online in our platform, the EQ.org. And so everyone can attend, can register to this platform and can attend for free. And so usually we offer this course also to prepare partners and certify people just to use this course with parents when they meet them in person, and having the possibility to go through all the units, all the modules that we have for Q101 for parents, this free course online. So even participants here for this webinar, I will type in the chat the link to this course, and all of you can register, and if you are a parent or not, if you are just interested in having a big picture of what it means being a parent with a Q, can of course attend for free. So I will type the link in the chat in a minute.
Okay, thank you, Laria. And how about doing another poll? And the one, what tools would you use to engage students in primary school? Some suggestions.
Yeah, so you can interact with us clicking on perfect. Okay, I can end the poll. See the results. Games. Actually, all the tools that we stated here: games, circle times, storytelling, emotional rating, arts. And I hope you could also appreciate the 6 Seconds tools. So the SAYV, that is a very powerful assessment for kids, and the emotion cards or other cards that you can find even in our store, and that CoachUrself used to teach kids about emotional literacy and other skills, EQ skills. So I'll share the result.
Okay. Yeah.
Great.
Okay, thanks a lot. Also, the last poll.
Do you wanna do the last now?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, for this one, you have to type in the chat because we really would love to know from you one suggestion you would love to give teachers and or parents in primary schools. So you listen to Coach Yourself story, but maybe you are an educator or a parent, a teacher, or a consultant, a coach, a counselor. And so, what kind of suggestion you would really love to give uh, for all the stakeholders in primary school? This could be very helpful uh, for us, but even for all the participants. So please share your comments in the chat if you want.
Okay. So while you are sharing, I just go to the last slide.
Sure.
And okay, what was the overall school reaction? I mean, it was really, really good because a lot of teachers were interested also beside the one that started this project with us. And so this means that other 3 classes joined the lessons in March, and they will keep continuing also for next year. And with the support of Vice Principal Roberto Dell'Oro, the teachers Lorenza Topa and Emilia Andriella, that I'd like to thank as well. And of course, always the principals, Anna Lombardi, that was very pleased with this innovative project. And she is now working to plan more lessons in the coming year, also involving another school and more training for teachers as well. So, I mean, this year was a lot of fun, and I think the next one will be even better. And that was quite it. Thanks a lot for your attention, and let's give
we can read all the comments that have been shared in the chat. And so Natalie wrote, using older children who are emotionally literate to run games and other things with younger children. And I think this is very interesting because it's a sort of buddy program, you know. I mean, in a lot of schools, it is very, I mean, it's common, quite common, and it's very important. I mean, to have, you know, a sort of buddy for a younger child, I think.
Yeah.
And Jennifer said a combination that uses art with PQ lessons.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And hello, Susan. I'm very pleased that you joined us. Yeah, we can see this. And yeah, she said, I would help teachers and parents develop their own EQ skills so they can best establish meaningful relationships with the students. And I think this is right, Manuel, exactly what you said at a certain point, to have the whole community part of this emotional engagement, you know. And,
that was a key element, really. And teachers are very deep into it at the moment. Next year, we plan to involve more the parent as well.
Yeah, in fact, what you did, sharing the SEL view with all the parents, I think this was really powerful, and this is very important because the parents as well can see their child under a different point of view. You know, not only the rational side or not only the IQ side or grades about subjects and whatever, but also the EQ side of his own side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'd also like to thank Sveva Perciabosco, that is our regional area director, and it was
with me.
We see her. Yeah. Okay. I see.
Okay. Hello, Sveva. I don't see you in this moment because you're not in front of the webcam. I see your husband, Massimiliano, and you're not Sveva. I don't think you're not Sveva.
She was really great in involving teachers in creating all this, and she also gave me the opportunity to start working with kids that I really, really liked a lot. So, I mean, a lot of people to thank in all this project, really.
Wonderful. And I think this webinar will be very important for other participants. I mean, other people who will love to deploy a project, a program, a social and emotional learning program into primary schools in this case, because I think they can really have tools, an idea of what kind of tools, what kind of methodologies they can use to do this. So thank you so much, Manuel, Massimiliano, and Sveva, for presenting and introducing us your project that is now a pilot project, but I know that you are already thinking of developing this in other schools in Italy. And I would love also to have you, to host you in another webinar for the Italian audience as well, if you agree on this, because this was really important, and I think we can share everything that you've done with other, also in Italian for people who wasn't who were not able to join us because of the language, in a way, language barrier.
Yeah, maybe this will, I will express myself a little better.
Yeah, and thank you, Susan, for your support, for offering your support. I think that Susan, you know, Susan Stillman is our Director of Education at 6 Seconds, and so even with her experience, we could really maybe put you in contact with other partners or with other certified people who intend to deploy this kind of programs in primary schools or other schools, because it was really interesting. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you to all the participants for being here with us today, I mean this morning or evening for us. And thank you, and bye everyone, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. I'll stop the recording now.
Bye. Thank you.